Disclaimer. In order to be compliant with COPPA, I'm informing you that this video has been created with general audiences in mind and is in no way aimed specifically towards children. I want people of all YouTube ages, which according to the terms of service is those 13 years of age and older, to be able to discover, comment on, and interact with my content. But I need to make abundantly clear up front that kids are not my intended audience. Thank you for your patience through this short disclaimer. I hope you enjoy the video. Yeah, that disclaimer that you just saw, that's going to be the new normal on my channel starting in January, unless something changes. How's it going, YouTube lovers? This is the 𝗖𝗛𝗥𝗘𝗏, and welcome back to another video where today, it's a serious topic. Today we are talking about something that's been the news for YouTube coming up on the end of the year, COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And the fact that YouTube got in trouble for violating it, especially because they went around bragging about it, and now the FTC is bringing the hammer down. Not the eBay hammer, of course, that's still mine. But it's really creators that are going to have to take the brunt of this under these current push of new format on YouTube. New regulations. The problem with me saying new regulations is that these have already been there, but YouTube just hasn't complied with them properly. It's a complicated mess, but I want to talk about first COPPA itself, what you can do to help, and what I think would be a fix. So let's go ahead and first talk about COPPA in general, like I was starting to do. So COPPA is meant to protect kids under 13 from getting their data taken online and also just keeping them protected online in general. That is the Online Privacy Protection Act. That is what it's meant. It's protect children online. But the problem is that with YouTube, it gets complicated already because the terms of service for YouTube say that you have to be 13 to have an account anyway. But then YouTube, you don't have to sign in to watch YouTube videos. I mean, I don't sign in to watch most videos on YouTube. I only sign in mainly when I need to upload or comment. Then there's also the fact that kids, they could just lie on this. They can say, "Oh yeah, I'm 13," but they aren't really, because they just want to subscribe to their favorite channels and comment on videos of their favorite creators, which I get. But then comes in the issue of, well, the FTC also considers comments, like a kid could possibly comment their personal data in a comment, which I don't agree with saying that they could, because then that really puts too much pressure on the creators to over-monitor comments, and some creators have thousands upon thousands of comments. But the thing that's really in part of this is personalized ads. Now, that is how, on monetized channels, that is how they make most of their money. I'm not monetized, so that part of it really doesn't affect me. Because what Google does in general, and just YouTube on specific for personalized ads on videos, is they collect data about the user, and they use that to determine, okay, you might want to see an ad about this. And I see this all the time. I use Google Chrome as my browser. I see all the time, like, an ad for, say, Super Hot, or an ad for Oculus, something like that. I see advertisements just popping up on the side during web pages saying, "Oh, this is something you might be interested in." And it's because I'm using Google Chrome. I understand that's what they're doing, and I'm over 18, so it's really okay with me. Fine, because I just want to use the internet, and it's not violating any laws for it doing to me, because I'm well over 13. But with YouTube, the fact is that personalized ads, usually would only be collecting this, like I said, with someone signed in, but like I also said, people can lie on this. So that means that there are personalized ads aimed at children, which is where COPPA comes into play. So YouTube got in trouble. There was a $170 million settlement between the FTC and YouTube, and now there's going to be, again, new regulations. These are just new applications of those regulations is a better way to say it, that'll take effect on January 1st in 2020. So what that means is every single creator is going to have to label every single one of their videos as either for kids or not for kids. This is the not for kids. That doesn't mean age restricted. That's still a completely separate issue. So the problem with that is you would think, oh, I just label it. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble with the FTC. I will just label it. But the problem for creators is that what labeling your content as for kids does. What it does is, of course, the major one is disables personalized ads on that video, which already, for monetized creators, that's a drop of up to 90% of their income per video that's labeled for kids. 90% of it, gone, like that. Now, you would think for all the small creators, such as myself, or even people who aren't eligible for monetization at all, because I might be, I haven't checked, because 1,000 is the minimum number of subscribers. But it's not just that, it also disables other important features on videos. Comments, end screens, info cards. Your video won't be recommended. Your video won't be searchable. It's just a huge mess. The only place people are going to see your video is if they go to your channel and they see the video. And I think that it even turns off notifications on that video. Your subscribers don't even get notified that there's a new video. They just have to keep checking your channel to see if that new video is up, if it's labeled for kids. So that you can already see that this is going to cause huge problems because channels are going to kind of grind to a halt when it comes to growth, especially with comments. Like I mentioned in my previous video about problems on YouTube, comments are one of the 3 engagements that the algorithm considers for recommending a video. It's not like this gets recommended anyway, but then comments disabled, you're never going to see that thing. Ever. So then you could also think, well, maybe that's not a big deal. I mean, I just label it not for kids and boom, I am safe. You're not. Because if you label it not for kids, and the FTC determines that it should be labeled for kids, you will be fined. And the FTC is a government group, so you're going to be fined by the government for up to, now it's not going to not necessarily be this for everyone, because they supposedly will raise and lower it underneath this high number based off the financial abilities of the creator, but it's still a really scary number to hear. Up to $42,000 per video that is not in compliance with COPPA. Where are people going to get this money? I mean, some of the big YouTubers make like millions of dollars off of YouTube, but even that's a huge chunk of money, and for small creators, that's life-ruining. Especially if you're not even making money off of YouTube, and then you're slapped with this fine. If you're doing this as a hobby like I am, it causes so many other issues, especially because they gave us a list of rules that say, okay, this determines if it's kid appropriate, or aimed at children. That's the key. It's intended for children, aimed at kids. But the problem is that it's extremely vague. I have a list of them pulled up here. It says the subject matter. How more vague can you get? Although you'd go common sense, like baby sharks, something like that. Something that's meant to like teach little kids education, that kind of thing. Visual contents, maybe go for like the goofy stuff like in Baby Shark, I guess. I keep thinking of that because that's one of the biggest things that was talked about lately, is because that song became popular again because of that video. The use of animated characters or child-oriented activities and incentives. This is already starting to get complicated because animated characters... have these people never heard of shows like Family Guy, South Park, Rick and Morty? Shows that have animated characters, but they're not for kids. So that is already a problem that came up here. And I'll talk about... FTC did put out a clarification. Right now I'm going through as they are, and then I'll talk about what they clarified, because we didn't know this until much later, and the fire had already started. So other stuff is the kind of music or other audio content. Already starting to get vague here. The age of models in the video. Okay, I get that. If you have kids in your video, you have to apply by rules. That's kind of already been a thing before this started. The presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children. The first half makes sense. Child celebrities. Celebrities that appeal to children. Like, what? So you can't have, like, a picture of Chris Pratt in your video because he plays a Marvel character and he's played a Lego minifigure? What does that mean? What does celebrities who appeal to children mean? That could be anything. Then this next one is even more confusing. Language or other characteristics of the site. And the way this works is it considers each creator's channel, each creator's video as a site, basically, is how this works. The language, because in the actual wording of COPPA, it includes saying words like duh, words like obvious, cool, basically simple language like that. And that's ridiculous to think that if you say those things, then you're aiming it at children. What, does everyone just start swearing in their videos now? I mean, I just personally, this is just how I talk. I don't like to swear. I just talk this way. Does that mean I'm now screwing myself with with COPPA for talking that way? It's ridiculously vague. And this next one, of course, makes more sense whether advertising that promotes or appears on the site is directed to children. And yeah, that one is probably the least arguable one on here. But it was just so vague when we got this and said, okay, this is going to happen on January 1st. Here's what you need to do. I'm like, you didn't actually tell us what we need to do. We don't get this. We don't get this. And people started jumping ship immediately. People were saying, okay, I'm deleting my channel. Here's your warning. I'm going to Twitch. Which, that doesn't... This law affects everything on the internet. YouTube is just the one that's getting hit hard right now. So this immediately started a panic, and appropriately so. Anyone who said, I'm scared, anyone who said, the FCC is doing this, beware of this, be very careful, I don't blame them at all for saying that. That is the information we had, and so that is the appropriate thing to say. This is... It's inductive reasoning. This is the evidence we have, so this is the conclusion we draw. We may find new evidence that changes that conclusion, but that doesn't mean what we had before was wrong. So don't go out blaming these people for like stirring up a panic. I was panicking before I even watched videos. I panicked from just reading an article that described it and wasn't making accusations or warnings or anything. It was just explaining information. I started getting worried. So we had a while where that was just YouTube. My home feed filled up with videos about COPPA and how people deleting their channels and people weren't sure what was going to happen. And then the FTC on November 22nd finally decided to say something. And they released an article, I'll link that in the description below, about, okay, so this is what it is. Allow us to clarify a few things. And this is what we needed right off the bat. This panic could have been avoided if we had been given this right off the bat. But anyway, this article here, it talks more about COPPA and how they say that, don't worry, we understand that not all animation is directed at kids. We understand that there's no one-size-fits-all, and that just because a child may see it, that doesn't mean it's directed at children, which was a big thing, because the wording before made it sound like if a child could see it, then it's directed at kids, which is ridiculous, because a child could possibly see anything but age-restricted videos on YouTube. And then they had the rules again, the bullet points about subject matter, the age of models present, the language, that whole thing. They barely clarified some of that. Some of it, like language, is still really vague. But then they added another bullet point that was not given to us originally when YouTube told all the creators this. This extra bullet is competent and reliable empirical evidence about the age of the audience. This was the silver lining that creators needed. What this means is, and they explain it further, is that we get that people can make content that is, say, like Minecraft, which honestly I think gaming's actually still kind of vague. I just used that as the first thing that popped into my head. Or like my videos using Star vs. the Forces of Evil on Marvel with the EBA edited universe that I have going on. Stuff like that. We understand that you may not be intending it for children, which is the key there, is intended. So what they want here is to say, are you aiming this at children? Which totally changes the way that we're supposed to look at this. This means that who is your intended audience? Now, for me, it's general audiences, which I know that's extremely vague in and of itself, but when I think general audience, I think just anyone who comes to YouTube. Watch my video. I don't care. That's what it is. That's the problem with the labeling system that they gave us, is that there's only two options. Either it's for people under 13 or if it's people 13 and up. That's not practical. That is not practical. So this provided some clarification. It's not as dire as we thought it was, but still, again, January 1st, this is going to go into effect. And like I said, the two-label system is just not going to work. It's still not going to work. So the good news is they have opened up comments. And we're allowed to, and I'll link that in the description. This is the big link right here. I'm going to put like bold fonts right next to it and like a star emoji or something. This is the big thing. We are given the opportunity before December 9th to comment on this. Up to 5,000 characters. We can upload files. We can either give our name or remain anonymous. But we are allowed to say what we think about this. Now, it's key that we need to like not accuse them. We need to not be panicky. We need to just say, look, this is the reality of the situation. This is how it's going to affect creators. This is why it needs to change. So I've already sent my comment in. The link is in the description. Like I said, you can be completely anonymous, up to 5,000 words to tell them how this is going to affect YouTube negatively and why it needs to change. Please follow that link. MatPat even tweeted out saying that the FTC's website crashed with how many comments was being flooded because so many people know that this is a major issue and they want to help. Because even if you're not a content creator, this is going to affect viewers. This is going to affect what kind of content you're going to be able to find, what your creators are going to be able to do, your favorite creators. So everyone needs to get involved in this. Everyone who's involved in YouTube, creators, viewers, everyone needs to get involved. Follow that link, comment below. And another thing you can also do, I'm going to link down below as well. It's not as big. There is a change.org petition that started back when everyone was in panic mode, which I think some people still are, because I don't blame them. This is really rough. But there's a change.org. This isn't going to be as important as the one that's on Regulations.gov. That's the one you should go to for sure. Then if you want to sign the petition, I'll link that below as well. They already got way past their original goal. Now they're trying to go for 1 million signatures, and they're about 3/4 of the way there. So let's keep this momentum going on both sites. Let's tell the FTC and YouTube that this needs to change. Now I want to talk about, because this is exactly what I said in my comment I said to FTC, is I don't want to just whine, because this video did get really ranty. I don't even know how long it's going to end up being at this point, so sorry for the ranting. But what I want to talk about next, to make sure it's not just me whining, is I want to offer a suggestion. This is how I think we can fix the way COPPA is going to be implemented more thoroughly starting January 1st. So, a big issue I see, honestly, with COPPA in general in this is that it seems to assume that it's the creator's job to raise someone else's kid. Saying, okay, you have to label this, when it's just parents not being responsible enough to know what content their kids are going for. So what I suggest is a YouTube rating system, much like the one you would see on TV, you know, like the little box that appears over here in the top left corner and everything. Is that the top left? Is that actually the top left? Yes, it's the top left. I have to check my video because this is my right hand. It's just left for you guys. So something like that where it just pops up a little rating and says, okay, this is what this is rated. Parents raise your kids, decide if you want them to watch this. And this rating system would have more than two. It wouldn't just have kids and not kids. It needs to have more options. So what I'm suggesting here is we're going to add a third option, and then also just label them if they're age restricted anyway, because why not? So these are the 4 ratings that I suggest to fix COPPA. So you know how you would like TV G, TV 14, this kind of thing. This is starting from the lowest level to the most restricted. So the 4 ratings that I have is first 𝗖𝗘𝗥𝗘, which is meant for children. This is the stuff that really is aimed at kids. Kids like Baby Shark or some kind of like goofy education thing like ABCs, something simple, something that is blatantly obviously kids content. 𝗖𝗘𝗥𝗘. And then we have stuff that's like mine, which I said, and that's 𝗖𝗘𝗥𝗘, general audiences. I mean, this is something that is used on channels like Disney XD when they have their gaming stuff. They put a disclaimer in their commercials that say, this is a general audience program. This is basically the same thing, but as a rating, saying 𝗖𝗘𝗥𝗘. This is meant for everybody. It is not aimed at kids, but it's meant for anybody who finds it to watch it. Then the third one is basically what the not for kids is in the labeling, and that is 𝗖𝗘13. Kind of like PG-13, but 𝗖𝗘13, which is for those 13 and up, which is anyone who's legally allowed to make a YouTube account anyway. Now, those, and then of course 𝗖𝗘A, which would be just on age-restricted videos. People wouldn't see that anyway unless their account was set to over 18 and they're signed in. But those are the 4 that I recommend. K, GA, 13, and A. Creators can pick that when they upload their video, and then there could be a report system to say, hey, I think this is wrong, but then it gets reviewed. And it's not just automatically, okay, you're wrong. It gets reviewed, whether by YouTube or FTC. I believe FTC would be the one who would want to handle this. And then, only then if the creator is found to not be compliant with COPPA, like the FTC believes they mislabeled the video even with this system, then you would have not an immediate, okay, fine of up to $42,000. The creator should get an email. They should get a 72-hour warning, like 72 hours prior to the fine. They should get an email, an automated email, I don't care, an email through their Google account that says, hey, we found that this video, insert title here, is not compliant with COPPA because it has been labeled this way and it should be labeled this way. You have 72 hours to fix this, or you will be fined. That gives creators warning, because that's the other main issue with COPPA, the way it's going to be applied on YouTube anew in 2020, is that there's no warning period. If they find you not compliant with COPPA, they will fine you. They're not going to give you a chance to fix it. They will fine you. So, again, that's what I say. KGA 13A. Rating system gives the parents the chance to raise their own kids. And I get, like, if you want to disable personalized ads on stuff that's that's still really going to hurt creators. But I get that. But leave comments on, though, and leave searchability on. Leave basic YouTube features on. Or that just destroys a video's chance of getting watched if it's done the way that it's going to be done, if they don't change anything. And that is why the comments are open to December 9th. Comment that. As many people as we can need to comment this to send a message. Crashing the site definitely send a message, but we need to keep putting in our comments. So anyway, that is going to do it for this video. Sorry, as kind of a downer way to start off the month. But this is really important. We've only got a little over a week left on being able to comment this, and we only have a month before these go into effect. So we really need to tell the FTC now what we want. So anyway, thank you for listening to this. Thank you for putting up with this, I should say. It's not normally a thing I like to do on my channel. But this is just too important. It affects everyone. I just had to say it. So anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. I don't want to say if you enjoyed it, because this wasn't meant to be enjoyable. This is meant to be informational, but to make sure that this gets out there, it's recommended in the algorithm for more people to see it. Drop a like and leave a comment down below. And go forget to subscribe as well to see the good content that I make, the gaming and edits and everything. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys!